The cutoff of SNAP benefits to 3.5 million Texans could ripple through the state's economy well beyond those directly affected. Here to help us broaden that out into how it could impact Texas grocers in particular is Paul Cobler. He's an economist, an economy and industry reporter for the Texas Tribune. Want to get that right for sure. Paul, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Will.
We appreciate you and your coverage on this. So I think it's helpful for people to understand out there, how much on average does someone who relies on SNAP get?
Yeah, in the state of Texas, it's about $400 per person. There are 3.5 million estimated people that are in the SNAP program in the state of Texas, about 1.7 million of which are kids. So, when you really kind of expand that out, that $400, I mean, that's about $615 million that are not coming into the state economy.
Thank you so much for that context. I think that really does help set up this conversation. But in your story that you reported today, you spoke to a number of experts, and what did they say about how this SNAP cutoff is really going to hit Texas in particular?
Yeah, I think it's kind of that point about the $650 million. When you lose that amount of money coming into the state, there's going to be an impact one way or the other. And that story that we were discussing that I published, we kind of focused on grocers and sort of the impact they're going to feel in terms of a loss of sales. But this is not a one-to-one. You're not just going to stop buying groceries because you don't have SNAP. There are certainly individual, very painful decisions that are going to have to be made by people. But the effects of that, whether you're going to buy new clothes, you're going to go do entertainment on a Friday evening for your family, that's going to affect a lot more than just the grocery chains.
Of course. And on the business side of things, what about the different sizes in retailers? I mean, we're talking about small grocers and even big box stores like an H-E-B or a Walmart. What's the difference in the impact that those could feel?
Yeah, I mean, when we think of our H-E-Bs, our Krogers, they're certainly going to be able to ride this out a lot better than a lot of the smaller stores are. The start of the month grocery stores, what they'll do is they'll kind of increase the amount of perishables and non-perishable goods that they have come in, because a lot of people will do a lot of their grocery shopping at the start of the month to coincide with their SNAP cards reloading.
Sure.
So a lot of painful decisions, as how it was put to me, are being made right now about, what is going to be wasted and what is not going to be wasted in terms of these shipments that are coming in from people who may or may not still be able to buy those goods. And again, a Kroger and H-E-B, they can do that. They can eat some of that cost. But when we're thinking of like a Del Rio, when we're thinking of a smaller store, particularly in a community that has a higher usage of SNAP, they're going to feel that impact a lot more and have a lot less overhead to be able to make adjustments on the back end for that.
Sure. And another thing that stuck out to me from your story is that different parts of the state might even feel the impacts of this differently as well.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Lamar County, as one example in North Texas, that's the highest percentage of SNAP usage in the state. It's over 20%. And when we think of our big cities, it's not even across our communities. And we speak a lot about food deserts and addressing those concerns. A lot of food deserts are served by large chains, like a Dollar Tree is kind of their only grocery option. And that's another example of a big one that can maybe absorb some of this better. But the way it was put to me is when we start getting 2 weeks, 4 weeks down the road of this thing, some real decisions are going to have to be made on the part of these companies, big and small. Absolutely.
I know you'll be following it closely, but we appreciate this update. Again, this is Paul Cobler from the Texas Tribune. You can read more of his reporting about this on the Texas Tribune's website. Paul, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Will.